Hey gang, just a brief intro into Music Weeks. Here they are now. I was also considering going down the list of all the people that you see over the Music Weeks to be part of each episode, let you know who's coming or who may have been or whatnot. The list has grown. Too big to really go into here. I don't want to take that much time. Music Weeks, thankfully, has grown into a pretty big deal. So it's grown a lot more than just the one Music Week it originally was going to start out as into multiple weeks now. Let's go ahead and get into this particular day's Music Weeks episodes, and I'm trying to drop them Monday through Friday each week of Music Weeks.
Welcome to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP. I am your host, Joseph M. Leonard, and that's Lenard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and occasional guest type podcast. I really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Constitutionalist Politics Podcast. Joining me today, indeed by audio and video, but we've turned off his video feed to make sure the audio feed will stay good so that we've got good audio for sure to share. But joining me today is John Vento, not Mento, not a candy, right? No relation to the Mentos candy conglomerate, whatever. I'm at a loss for words right here, right now. But yeah, John Vento, as you would expect it to be spelled, V-E-N-T-O. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Joseph. I'm happy to be here, buddy. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it is a gorgeous day. Really sunny today.
It is. We are since this won't air for a while, I'm looking down at my calendar, today being October the 30th, nice in southeast Michigan today too. So
beautiful.
I just hope it's good for the kids for Halloween tomorrow. Of course, when this show airs, people will be scratching their heads. Halloween?
Yeah, I got you.
But yeah, we're recording the day before Halloween. At any rate, let's indeed talk about John Vento. Born at an early age, raised, where are you?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ironically, right out of high school, I lived in a town called Grand Rapids, Michigan for 4.5 years and really enjoyed that. I worked up there, and it was kind of like my college education, you know. Primarily, I'm a Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh guy.
You came out of the womb as a roll of steel.
You say so.
I hope you didn't come out as a penguin. Pooh on your Penguins.
Oh, I did not. Well, guess what? We just lost 7 games in a row, so that should make you happy.
It does make me a little happier, but
there you go.
The Red Wings have not gotten off to a good start this season either. So, and we missed the playoffs by a tiebreaker last year. We were supposed to be a sure playoff team this year, but it's looking kind of iffy.
Yep, I hear you.
But at any rate, we're not here to talk hockey or football. We're here to talk music. I got Michael Stover's press release. I got to tell you, first thing I thought when I saw Nied's Hotel Band, and it's Nied's, it's not Ned's, it's Nied's, not 2 E's, right. It's Nied apostrophe S. I before E, except after C applies. Nied's Hotel Band song. We're in this together. My first reaction was, oh no, not another bunch of Marxist celebrities singing about globalism. We are the world stuff. But no, no, yours is biblical community and we need to get along on the block, right?
We sure do. Yes, we do.
What was the genesis, pun intended, of that song?
Oh, well, you just said it. In this current political climate, now this show is probably going to air after the election, right? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay, so who in the hell knows what that's going to bring? But this vitriol and ugliness, and on social media, which I would, if I wasn't involved with music, I wouldn't even be involved with social media, because the negativity, the ugliness, families being split apart over political candidates that don't even know your name. And, my guess is that they don't even care about you or us or me. So, it just occurred to me, like, what the hell are we doing here as humans? Why are we treating each other this way? And that's when I came up with the idea for the song. We're in this together, and, it went from there.
You get together with other artists. This isn't your general band, or is it your band?
No, this is our band. No, this is my band, but we added 2 female singers.
Okay, I knew there was an addition in there somehow.
Yes.
They were eager, I take it. Who are they, and what bands do they come from, or are they individual artists?
Yeah, they're individual artists. We added Megan Paulette, who's just a incredible, I mean, she's a hardworking musician here in Pittsburgh, and Mia Z, who was best known for being on The Voice a few years ago, in the top 10 on NBC's, on The Voice. Both of these young ladies have killer voices, and they kind of just added, their talents and their vibe to the whole thing, which made it that much better.
I don't watch The Voice myself, but I have no doubt there's people in this audience that do. I do watch.
Yeah, and it's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, I watch Masked Singer.
Okay.
It's a little more silly, but fun.
Yeah, I've not seen either one of those. I have not seen either one of those. Be quite honest with you.
Sure, you're busy. I'm on disability, so I've got a lot of time to watch TV, unfortunately.
Well, I wish you well, brother.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. And also, I'm glad you mentioned Grand Rapids. For those who may be listening for their first time, I am in Detroit, Michigan. That's why he was eager to mention Grand Rapids on the other side of our state. Been there many times. Very familiar with Grand Rapids. Where I was going to say, where else you been? But obviously, as a musician,
I've traveled a lot.
Yeah, you've been all over. It'd be a shorter list.
Sure.
Where haven't you been, right?
Well, most of my travel, I've done some regional travel with music, but my prior life, my prior corporate life, many, many years ago, I traveled extensively throughout North America and, obviously the U.S. and Canada.
So what did you do before you were a singer?
I worked for Westinghouse Corporation.
Oh,
Never ever thought I'd get involved with music. That happened quite accidentally.
Oh, well, I pride myself in never scripting a show. We just hit record, we go, see what rabbit holes opened up. Well, there's a rabbit hole. How accidentally did that happen?
It was very accidentally. I was screwing around with karaoke at a bar one night here in Pittsburgh. And, of course, I loved music and had an energy for it, a family history of musicians. And just a friend of mine said, hey, there's a local band looking for a singer. And I was like, well, that ain't me. I convinced me to go to the audition, and I got the gig. And that's how it started.
That reminds me of the Journey band story when they
the karaoke guy.
You're right. Oh, what's Perry? I can't think of.
He replaced Steve Perry.
Steve Perry. I couldn't think of Steve Perry and the band were at odds and having issues. He had just done a solo album. So they thought, look, we're going to replace you. And indeed, the guy who sounded an awful lot like Steve Perry, karaoke guy, got the gig. And it's like a movie.
Unbelievable.
movie like Mark Wahlberg too did a movie called, I can't remember the title, but if you look up Mark Wahlberg, one of the movies, I think it's a single word title, is like that too. It was a metal band having issues, and the singer walks out. They bring him up from the audience, starts singing, becomes the new lead singer.
Wow. That happens. And yeah, for me, it was a karaoke, and I wasn't very good at karaoke. I wasn't very good as a singer of a cover band, and it took a few years to figure out my path was original music. And then you don't have to sound like anybody else, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely right. As long as the band then, when you're writing, they know your range, what you're good at, what you're comfortable with, and work with that. Absolutely.
Right. That's the key.
I also understand that you have Band Together Pittsburgh Charity. You are a Christian, and you put together Band Together Pittsburgh Charity. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm a co-founder amongst with another fellow, Ron Esser, Moondog here in Pittsburgh. But we have tons and tons of volunteers, and in a nutshell, Band Together creates music programs for people on the autism spectrum. And, you know, there's divine intervention, because this happened just so organically and just so magically that there's no way this would have happened without somebody above guiding us along the way. I will tell you that.
And also the 9/11 tragedy, me being a author of Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You, not about 9/11, but of course 9/11 in a book on terrorism has to be in there. And you created or worked with to found.
Right. Part of the team, yes.
Yeah. Remember Me Rose Garden in relation to Flight 93, Shanksville, PA. Go ahead and tell us how that happened.
A friend of mine was involved in the early stages of the planning of the Rose Garden to honor the heroes of Flight 93. And the summer of the 20th anniversary of that horrible day, the summer of 2021, he just called me and asked if I'd get involved. He knew I was a gardener and, you know, real serious about that kind of stuff. And what a blessing that's been also, and what an incredible team we have. I'm part of a huge team of volunteers. It is a sacred space. I'll just say that. It's moving and powerful. And just close your eyes and think about what those passengers went through on those final 10, 15, 20 minutes when they knew they were sacrificing their lives for a bigger cause. Yeah. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. In that moment, I have an article I just released on Before It's News. It will appear again later. It will have been on TheLibertyBeacon.com by the time this indeed airs, called Fight, Flight, or Fade. There is another option, but in that enclosed tin can, you can't hide behind the seat. That's not going to do you any good. Flight, there's nowhere to go. Fight was their only real option. So glad they stepped up to do that, obviously.
Would you share when that article is published, or you're able to share? Would you send that to me, please? I'd love to share it with my team out at Flight 93.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I will send you the Before It's News version of it right now. That is up. It's out. After we're done recording, I will pass that link along to you. That would be great. I would love for you to be able to do that, and you can do it as pre-promotion of you coming on the show.
Sure. I would be happy to do that.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, back to the Christian and we're in this together, as I talk about on the show a lot. Big difference between biblical community, because you use the word volunteers coming together regarding the Remember Me Rose Garden and the Band Together Pittsburgh Charity. That is biblical community, where you voluntarily come together to work together for a collective cause. But that's far different than Marxist communism, socialism, collectivism by force.
Of course. Well, yeah, volunteerism is certainly a decision, a choice that people make, to do something special, right?
Right.
And that by choice, you're not being forced. If you're being forced into it, that's called slavery.
Communism,
your
another
will.
form. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
The programs and the work that I'm involved with, oh my goodness, the beautiful people that step up and the things that they do is just, it's moving. It really is.
Yeah, and again, you don't have to be Christian to understand that do unto others thing and to be our brother's keeper thing. Yep. Again, voluntarily, for God loves a cheerful giver, right? That we should want to be each other's aid and comfort at times, not be forced to do it, to indeed volunteer, because if we don't sow good, we reap. We all are complicit in the evil that is reaped if we don't sow good. Yes?
1,000,000%. Agreed. Yep.
Do you have anything in the works, or is that all hush hush?
Well, when you say in the works, we just released this song, which is our message of hope. We got to get through this one, and then we move forward from there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But of course, every day we've got to do good. We have an obligation every day, especially those of us. I mean, you mentioned that you're on disability. My wife battles muscular dystrophy. She's on disability. So, and she has such a beautiful spirit and gets a lot done. But for those of us that don't have those struggles, we have an obligation to help other people every way we can, through financial resources, or whether it's just through physical. It just might be encouragement, which is very powerful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Voluntary via our own blood and treasure, not stealing from one neighbor to give to somebody 3 states over, like Tim Wall said about one person's socialism is another man's neighborliness. No, stealing from your neighbor to give somebody 3 states over isn't being neighborly, Tim.
Oh, boy.
But at any rate, as we said, the election will be long over by the time this airs, so whether that statement's, it's still valid, of course, but what the results will be when this airs, no one knows.
No one knows, and it's going to be interesting.
But that's part of it, too, is we've talked about sowing good to be able to reap good. That I talk about on the show, and God's Not Dead, the 5th installment movie, also finally addressed 30 to 50 million supposed fellow Christians not registered to vote, or registered but haven't voted or don't vote. Yeah. If we all voted, right, that's part of the sowing good. We must work towards good, or again, we're complicit in the evil that we allow. And, perhaps the song in the future can be about that, right? We're in this all together, but also individually, we got to get off our butts.
Everybody should be participating and making things happen for sure. And unfortunately, that's not the way.
Not the way with too many people. Yeah. And like I said, I was glad the God's Not Dead, In God We Trust 5th installment of that series finally broached that too. I know there are some out on the campaign trail that now also reference that. Look, if we all voted, they couldn't even cheat enough to take the election.
You're making the assumption, and you could be right, that the people not voting are more conservative. I don't know if that's true or not. Fair assumption. Based on the people that I know that don't vote, it's probably more, I don't know, is it 50-50? I don't know what it is.
Well, it's certainly, a survey of them would need to be conducted. But as this show is about the Bible, the whole Bible in full context, community is biblical, communism is not. If you're a real Christian, the choice should be pretty clear. Like I've got a sign on my door now here for the election provided by somebody that says, I am Christian. God would not want me to vote for Marxists, communists, or baby killers. Now, I don't know if you'd go that far, but...
no, I'm with you. No. Oh my God, it breaks my heart, these late-term abortions and all this stuff. It's just, it gets me upset.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, survey after survey shows people are for allowing it in certain cases, right? But never generally late term. And indeed, because I've had many shows on this, obviously, rape, incest, and supposed life of the mother, even though C. Everett Koop, the former Surgeon General for, I think, Reagan, in his pediatric career, he's never known of a reason to need to abort a child to save a mother. You do an emergency C-section, and then you treat both patients, and then usually both the mother and the child live. But it is less than 1% rape, incest, and supposed life of the mother. 99% are pure convenience. And in this day and age, with the availability of inexpensive, and in some cases you can get for free, contraception, all kinds of different varieties of it, you could have triple, quadruple protection to not let that baby become there to kill, right? They say reproductive rights. They always have to change the argument. Well, reproduction already began. So your reproductive rights are over. Those came when you had the chance to use contraception. I'm in election mode right now, obviously.
I know you're fired up.
As we record. But when this airs, that will, of course, all been over. But it's not as if these issues are going to go away overnight.
Understood. No, they're not. No, they're not, brother.
Let's bring it back to your band and your music. I take it you found indeed a band, the band that wanted to hire you are somewhat like-minded, at least. Are they fellow Christians?
I'd say that most of the guys are of Christian faith, for sure. Absolutely, yes.
But you don't do Christian music genre per se.
We do not. That's correct. Even though there's an element, in our songs of that.
Being from Michigan, we're very familiar, of course, with Vincent, a.k.a. Alice Cooper, and his return to Christianity after his battle with alcoholism, cleaned up his act. He often says that a lot of his fan base is Christian because, indeed, while they are, hard rock or pop, whatever, there's a lot of Christian messages in their music. And I take it that's probably the same with you.
Absolutely, yes. I have done some songs that are overtly Christian, like I did a solo record, and one of the songs was Let God Drive. I've had people who listen to a lot of my music, a lot of my original music, have said to me, wow, it's obvious you put your faith out there, which I do. And, when we do our shows, we're very family friendly. So, all those elements are there, but we're certainly not in the world of Christian music, that, the contemporary Christian music that we hear at church Sundays or we hear on K-Love. My wife loves K-Love, so.
Does any of your songs play on that?
No, K-Love? No.
Yeah. They're not, even the overtly Christian one, unfortunately, they haven't picked up, huh?
That's correct. They have not.
Well, hey.
That's a big industry.
Oh, it sure is. But I'm going to get all over Michael. He needs to get on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Get that PR machine cranked up and get you on K-Love.
Michael, he's great on that. I'm at my office. Obviously I work for a living. Music is a big part of my life, for sure.
Going to wrap it up here anyway,
Okay.
because I try to keep
Great timing.
my episodes kind of so that you could drive to a diner on lunch, order your food, put us on, eat while listening, finish up your lunch and the show at the same time, pay the bill, and get back to work. So I have for you Nied. Again, it's IEDES, right? I got to correct that. I wrote it down wrong. Nieds, NIEDS, hotelband.com. JohnVento.com, spelled as you would expect, an H in John. Band together, PGH.org. Are there any other websites you're associated with that people could reach out to you?
No, you got it. You nailed it.
Those will, of course, all be in the show notes. Thank you, John, for hanging out with us.
All right, my friend Joseph, have a blessed day.
You too. Take care. God bless.
All righty. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having tuned in for Constitutionalist Politics Show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you, or autographed copies are available online direct from me via terrorstrikes.info/shop. And let me remind, over time the fancy high production items will come, but for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, no fancy high production intro or insert, at least yet. Just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to Constitutionalist Politics Podcast and share episodes. We need your help